Bonjour, French 1. Today we're going to talk about the idea of using adjectives, otherwise known as describing words, like tall, short, nice, funny, or in this section, colors, as nouns, and nouns be people, places, things, and ideas. Basically, let me explain to you how this works in English first. In English, you can use an adjective as a noun by putting the word the before the describing word, such as the color in this case, and the word ones after it. So for example, if you and a friend are shopping, you might be looking at two different pairs of tennis shoes. Instead of saying, sorry about the bell, instead of saying, I like the blue tennis shoes, in having to say, like we normally do, our describing word, and our noun, you could actually use the idea above and just say something like, I like the blue ones. And in English, we understand that even though you didn't say the word tennis shoes again, we're standing here looking at a pair of tennis shoes and it makes sense what you're talking about. Notice that you didn't actually say the word tennis shoes, you just used the adjective and the word ones as the noun or the thing in your sentence. In French, you can also use a describing word as a noun or as a thing. And if you consider the same situation, instead of saying j'aime les baskets bleues, which literally means I like the tennis shoes blue, but French people just do it in a different order. The blue tennis shoes. Our the is there, our describing word is there, our noun is there with tennis shoes. You could say j'aime les bleus, which literally just says I like the blues, but it's kind of like in the French way or the English way of saying I like the blue ones. We don't actually have to repeat the word basket. We don't have to put in the word tennis shoes. The only tricky thing about doing this in French is that you have to leave the article, as in the le, the la, or the les, and the describing word, like here, the color blue, in the same form that you would put them in and if you actually had the noun in the sentence. So because tennis shoes is feminine and plural, we had our plural form of the, we had our feminine plural form of blue with an E and an S added to it. So even though the actual word baskets is gone, you actually have to leave the and the describing word in the exact same form that you would have. It still needs to agree with the item even though the item isn't there. Also notice in French that you don't actually say the word ones after the describing word like you have to in English. It's literally just the blues. So having said that, here's a couple of examples. If somebody were to ask you, tu aimes le t-shirt bleu ou le t-shirt blanc? Basically what they're asking you is, do you like the blue t-shirt or the white t-shirt? Now don't get me wrong, you could very easily say j'aime le t-shirt bleu, I like the blue t-shirt, and you could repeat the t-shirt again. Or if you'd like to do what we normally do in English and say I like the blue one, the way you would do that in French is you of course say I like, you would leave your the same, you would leave your blue the same, and you just take out the word t-shirt. Literally it just says I like the blue, but that's their way of saying I like the blue one. If you were to ask, il préfère la voiture rouge ou la voiture bleue? Does he prefer the red car or the blue car? Again, you could leave the word car in the sentence, or if you'd like to answer by just saying he prefers the blue one, which is more like what you would typically say in English, you would basically just say he prefers, which is il préfère, and then instead of saying la voiture bleue, the blue car, you would just say the blue, as in the blue one. You would leave your the same as la, because car is feminine, voiture is feminine, and you would leave your e on bleu, because again, car is feminine. Alrighty, finally, tu aimes la gomme blanche ou la gomme rose? Do you like the white eraser or the pink eraser? Sorry, that should be ooh, by the way, typo. So if you want to say I like the pink eraser, but you don't want to have to be repetitive and you just want to say I like the pink one, again, your phrase for I like is j'aime. You leave your the and your pink the exact same as it was whenever it was agreeing with the feminine gomme, with the feminine eraser. The stays feminine as la, rose stays feminine as pink, and you leave it as j'aime la rose, which is I like the pink one. I know this is kind of a confusing situation, but it's actually a little bit easier if you just kind of practice it a few times. So that's what we'll be doing in class. Bring these notes so that at least you have some examples.